Hi guys, welcome to a new video. So today we'll take a look on another 1v1 game from Armies of Exigo, and this time it will be a 1v1 between Enea and me on the map Inner Sanctum. So let's unpause it and let's take a look on what actually happened here. So I spawned in the top left corner with the green Fallen, and Enea is in the bottom left corner with the dark blue Empire. So I think we are both playing our main race, and this is actually gonna be kinda long and even battle, so definitely prepare for that. We can maybe speed it up a little bit on the beginning, because of course here we are just waiting for the summoner to move, and Empire usually gathers some extra resources in the beginning, so that's not too interesting. But as you can see, I'm opening with a small front base here, placing down my deformer, while Enea is going here probably for early expansion, yeah, immediate expansion before any other buildings, so definitely a little bit risky. If I would go for double hive opener with full stingers and I would be lucky to find him immediately, I could definitely just rush him here and finish the game basically immediately. But that's not gonna happen here. I just go for one hive with the deformer just for a small defense, and now I go for my Dark Fortress. As you can see, I'm hiding my summoner a little bit more behind. In case he runs here with a peasant, he might check this area for my expansion, but he won't see the summoner to potentially harass him or something. So we hit here. Now we are going to build the Dark Fortress. In the meantime, we are producing as many harvesters as I can. Usually I go for 8 harvesters before the Dark Fortress, or before actually creating any new summoners, let's say. Which is 16 population, and then I use 2 more population that I have from the one summoner and the Dark Fortress that I have from the beginning. I use that for 2 stingers for scouting, so as you can see I made 2 stingers here. We are running with 1 to here, second one here, yeah, so not the luckiest shot. We'll find him kinda late. He already has his barracks, producing first swordsman, and now also making a tower already, so can't really do much here. Also just 1 stinger wouldn't do really anything. Of course, we also had some spectators there, so you might see some discussions, but maybe they were also on voice and checking it there, or talking about the game. That is 1 peasant. Fortunately, I will find him with my stinger, so that should be an easy kill, maybe not immediately, but eventually I should be able to take care of this guy. I already have my tower. I'm going for incubator. I have extra resources, so definitely I should already have second hive, but right now I'm mainly investing into saturating my expansions, yeah, moving 4 harvesters from my main base to the expansion, and now producing harvesters in both Dark Fortresses, so we have the fastest production of our villagers as we can. My enemy is also just on 1 barracks, now also going for blacksmith, now making a second barracks actually in the back. In the front he has the tower with 2 farms also protecting it, and he doesn't have full peasants yet, but already both bases working kinda nicely. Pretty similar for me, even though I have only 7 harvesters on gold right now, so maybe he has a little bit higher income. He's also a little bit ahead in terms of population, and he finally killed the peasant here. I still didn't make my second hive, but I actually decided to go for a third base, so really quick. I usually don't play this macro heavy, but since I struggle sometimes to produce more bases throughout the game, in this situation I decided to actually make 1 expansion early on. And also immediately build 2 towers here, which is more than I have here, where it's protecting 2 bases at once. And we still have only 1 hive, so really hard to produce any more units. But as you will see soon, my opponent actually decided to go for kinda quick push. Now he's getting the trailblazing, he is getting advanced barracks, and he already has 2 pikemen, so he can really quickly deal with my spitters. While of course the swordsman can really easily deal with my stingers. Of course, if I would have 2 hives or even 3, and didn't go for the third base now, I would already have like maybe 6 or 8 spitters, and I would really easily deal with him. But since I decided to go for this slower approach, right now we of course don't really have the army to actually defeat him. But fortunately I have at least this tower here. I could probably make a second one now, but he actually decided to go for my expansion. I mean the third base, so here he will face 2 towers at once, plus the harvester, and of course I will run into his back, so he has to definitely escape from there. He definitely was 1 pikeman there, maybe even a swordsman. And here, I don't think this is the best idea, because I'm fighting outside of my base, I'm not utilizing the tower. but I was kinda sure that my splitters won't die. I can micromanage them well enough so he doesn't kill them, and I was willing to sacrifice the stingers there, so that was totally okay. He also got Elven Sanctuary, made a Dryad to place down some Eyes of the Forest, so he has vision all over this place. Not sure what he was thinking here, because obviously Deformer can reveal invisible units, so he lost the flower and also lost the Dryad. But here he is running into my spitters. Not the best micromanagement here, I lost like 2 spitters already, third one. So yeah, definitely could have been played better. But we still, of course, killed lots of units. Now we pulled him to the tower. And he actually almost pushed me, but fortunately I made guards now because I finished my Valkycoon. So now, even though he might destroy this tower, because even though I have some control forms here, you can see that the range of the unit is actually big enough to hit the tower even through the or over the control forms. Now I have the flank units, so he doesn't have much chance. Also, of course, I researched my grasp, so we can use the grasp ability with our harvesters, deal with some more harassment here of the small units. And he's definitely sending lots of units, dealing some heavy damage to my economy, so even though I will of course survive this thanks to my flank units, I will be able to I will be losing some economy here. Of course I have another base now, which is kinda nicely working, but he still definitely dealt some damage to my economy, so this is not ideal. As they were saying, I had some saved up resources. I was trying to focus on making units mainly here and maybe casting the grasps and things like that. So I had some saved up resources, but we quickly fixed that. Now we are basically on the same population, and my opponent actually decided to go for some Elf Rangers here, which are of course good that they can at least attack on the air, but guards should be able to deal with them, especially if you focus fire correctly. He also had one Phoenix there, but he didn't have enough mana for Nova yet, so that didn't really matter that much. I'm immediately rebuilding my towers, because, of course he could also go for catapults, but that's really improbable when I have Hive Guards. So I rather decided to make some towers, because of course he was spamming lots of units. I didn't know how many bases he has, how many production buildings he has, and I just knew that I have to hold him here for a second, maybe even sacrifice some units for it, and once these towers will be finished, there is no way he can push me just with units. This is 4 towers, absolutely unpushable for him in this stage of the game, so this is all I needed to do. Now these bases are completely safe. Here I have 2 towers, really well protected. Maybe some units could run here, but it will be like 1 melee unit hitting it at a time. And if he wants to do it with Elf Rangers, I will just once again help. With my army, this is okay. So my bases are fully protected now. We also made another expansion here. So now it's 4 bases against 3. Once again, still maintaining the advantage, but population is exactly balanced. He has a little bit more wood. I have a little bit more gems. Gold is basically 0 for both of us. Here he actually came with some pikemen. And of course this was a huge indicator for him, because he saw my harvesters coming from here into this direction, so now he knows that I have a base somewhere in this corner. And of course these pikemen will now probably try to come here, but I already predicted that and brought some guards here looking for the pikemen. And here he started moving. Of course he will find towers here, so that won't really help him. Plus I have the guards here, harvesters with grasp, so he cannot really do anything about this. He also made 1 base here, but that's only for gold. So in terms of gems we have now basically double income. In terms of gold we have 4 bases against 3, so that's still okay. Population is now in our favor by like 20 more, so that's really good. We are adding some matriarchs and nightmares to the army. I made 2 vengeance halls here, 1 dimension gate, potentially for even some stalkers if needed. And we also have Hall of Whispers, so we can get of course Voidwalkers for freezes and dispels. Of course right now when I'm looking on that, there was definitely room for 1 more expansion here, or maybe even another one in the corner, just to get even bigger economical advantage. We had stronger armies, so there was definitely time for it, and we had the resources. But of course, once again, during the game I'm often struggling to go for it, so we didn't really do that, but I'm at least trying to do some harassment here, stop the enemy expansions. Of course, when there is a Phoenix, you can't really kill it with a Hive Guard, but if there is no anti-air, then Hive Guards are definitely really good for this. Of course, Empire can really easily do these harassments with the pikemen. Once there are also towers, then you kinda need something more, but For now this is totally fine. For late game we have of course knights for harassment. That cannot be even grasped. And we have our first Void Walker in the army. I also made lots of Seekers, so we can cover some, the whole map with some vision. And also we can potentially infest some of the enemies, reveal the enemy flowers, so we can prevent the enemies from scouting us. That's another option you can do, of course. And here I actually decided to take this front base. I tried to run here with the pikemen, but I have my army ready. We have lots of resources now, but my opponent as well, so that's kinda a mistake for both of us, even though he's struggling with gems definitely heavily. I have basically all the resources, but I don't have actually unlocked population, but I'm still 20 ahead, so that's okay. I need to make some summoners, which I made. Now we have to use the control form. Once again I have Seeker here, so we revealed this flower. He even tried to use the stealth on his Dryad, which is now researched by default, but thanks to the Seeker I was still able to kill the Dryad, and I don't think he really scouted anything here with the flower. It has quite decent range of view, or view range, but I don't think it really reached anything important. Immediately making some towers here. Without catapults it will be kinda hard for him to push, or at least knights. Here I have my Hive Guard once again protecting this, but Phoenix is immediately finding me. I'm finally placing down another base, which will be also kinda nicely protected by these towers, so that's a really good position. This should have been taken ages ago. Now as you can see, actually kinda managed to catch up on the population. And here I tried a small push, immediately found him. The towers just finished, so kinda good, but probably would be better if I upgraded them first. They would have also more durability, and also they would have AoE damage, which is always good. Here he is running from the side with lots of pikemen, which is of course really powerful, and also he's casting some nice decrease to my army. I think I maybe had the anti-magic there before, but it probably already expired, and he nicely utilized that for some decrease. So huge damage, but at the same time we also did some decent damage to his army. So I think this wasn't the worst fight, but of course it was definitely lots of losses on our side, but we are probably producing faster, because right now as you can see we are 40 population ahead again. So maybe we have more production buildings. As you can see I have lots of hives here and vengeance halls everywhere, so we are utilizing that pretty nicely. I also made Astral Node, but I don't really have any stalkers right now. Maybe I already researched the file, not sure. We also have Chamber of the Avenger, so we are adding some Avengers finally. And yeah, here is one stuck Harvester unfortunately, but that's just 2 population. I didn't really want to waste any units to go there to kill him, because the enemy could attack me during that time. And making aerial for that is also something I didn't want to waste time with. Here we have the expansion, but we are not gathering there because I don't have population for Harvesters. Another base here, an attempt, but immediately stopped. Fortunately the enemy is also not making too many bases. Now he made this one, but that's pretty vulnerable. He should probably make it somewhere else, but I have guards everywhere guarding the locations, also Seekers scouting everything, so we are kinda fine there. So yeah, here I go for the base push. Of course he is pushing me from behind, but he's not going from this way as well, so it's still just from one side. He casted some decrease there. Yeah, once again I wasn't really ready with the anti-magic zones. As you can see now it's here, but it's a little bit too late. And overall this fight was maybe in our favor a little bit, but once again both sides definitely lost lots of units, and both sides still have lots of units. Here I think I sent one Avenger to deal with this base, but it probably won't be enough. So here we are using some Avengers as well, some skeletons. Yeah, so this base should be dead. This one, decent harassment, but unfortunately pikemen are of course a really easy way of dealing with Avengers on open field. So we won't be able to finish this, even though the damage was quite decent, but he also wasn't repairing that, so if he was, it would take way longer to deal anything to it. Here he has some swordsmen, so I can't really produce from these hives. Still don't have much population for new harvesters. I wanted to pump everything into the units, because we still had enough resources for now, so didn't really feel like we need that. Here I sent my harvesters. Yeah, he dealt with the Avenger and repaired it. And so yeah, here I just grasped him. I'm transferring my harvesters to this base, because we ran out of resources in our first expansion. Right now I have my Void Walker still out of position, so we have to regroup first. He still has the flowers here. I should have been more careful and just snipe all of them out with a Seeker, but yeah, he's in the back. Wasn't really doing that too efficiently. But we are on full population, still lots of resources. Our enemy is on 0 resources, 170 population right now. Getting another expansion, also has some units there for protection, so that means that we can of course really easily, not easily, but it will be easier for me to win the fight because he will not have all the units there. Well, I have only some skeletons away, but now he introduced knights into his army. Now he kinda decreased his own units, but of course he has heals, so he will really quickly fix that. I also wasted some mana immediately here for the anti-magic, so that will also hit us quite heavily. Knights harassing here, yes, so also kinda difficult to deal with. You need to send some stingers there ideally. I tried some freezes, but he immediately dispelled that, but fortunately I had enough mana burns for most of the mages. He still managed to cast some decrease here, but to be honest the main problem here is just the melee line. I used all my mana burns on the mages, but of course then I didn't have any more mana to mana burn the priests or to cast to make skeletons from the dead bodies to prevent resurrection. So he just had this huge army of melee units in the front, destroying my whole army. We kinda killed each other, but then he resurrected everything because he still had the priests on full mana. And of course I didn't have the mana, as I said, for skeletons to steal the corpses, so he was able to resurrect everything and continue pushing. Fortunately I had some towers here which kinda held him back. Right now we still have lots of resources, but population is basically balanced. At the same time he's still pushing it with the knights, but that's just a base that I wasn't even using yet, so that's not the biggest problem. Finally some stingers on the knights, but yeah, that's not enough. Especially when they have prayer, full upgrades, yeah, it's 12 armor, so that's really difficult to deal with when your stinger has also 12 damage. Of course I could still get more upgrades, yeah, now I was mainly investing into the units, which was definitely, I mean, good of course, first you want to remake the army, but I already had full armies before and didn't get the upgrades, so that was definitely a mistake. Here I'm upgrading my towers to hopefully deal with the knight harassment. It's just 2 knights, but they could probably destroy this if it was just normal towers. Fortunately now I finally sent some stingers here. Here one Avenger to check this, but he had 5 knights ready. So as you can see, he's going for heavy knights basically everywhere right now, immediately trying to take the expansion again. He also has another base here, which I see with the Seeker, so I think I will send something to deal with that. Maybe some guards, we will see. And here we are finally maybe gathering some resources again, but once again I don't have more population for units. As you can see, his army is mainly knights, pikemen, priests and mages. Now adding some more elf rangers that he has left from somewhere else. My army is just stingers, spitters, avengers and then void walkers. I should definitely add some matriarchs again, but I wanted to make mainly avengers now, so he cannot really decree me easily. Stingers of course to deal with the knights, but yeah, this is the problem, he resurrects immediately everything again, so basically to counter the resurrect, the only answer to that is the matriarchs. But then of course we are susceptible to the decrease, so we have to definitely really balance between these different casters of the empire to deal with all of them, but fortunately we somehow managed to push him back again. Population still in our favor by like 30. In terms of bases, it's 7 against 7, so perfectly balanced, while he has 4 that are still working and I have only 3 actually. But here I'm harassing him with guards, so that will definitely at least slow him down. Here I already have 3 towers, some stingers, so he cannot take this down. We are transferring harvesters from this base. There is only 2 expansions left that could be taken, one with gems, one that is just gold. This of course is something we should definitely take down again, but we are 50 population ahead, so I'm not really in a hurry anywhere. Of course I don't know his population, but from what I saw during the whole game, which was actually quite long, even during the game I kinda had the feeling that I had more population most of the time in the army. And I still have lots of gems in stock, so we don't have problems with that at all, we just need to gather more gold, which means now having this base is really good, because it's just increasing my gold. So we are basically on full population, now Enya is on 150. So we have a small advantage. Now we go for the town hall. I'm keeping the Avengers in the back. Tanky units, not really easily killable by the decrease. And when he comes here, I freeze him, send the stingers there. Unfortunately, he had the dispel there ready basically immediately. I finally added some materials as well, so we got some skeletons here. But yeah, unfortunately here my stingers ran into the decree and half of them died. Once again, stingers dying immediately, especially when there is so many ranged units in the back. But we once again mana burned all the mages at least. Resurrections will be still working, but at least I tried to freeze some of them. He doesn't have the mana on the mages to dispel this anymore, so that's also another way of doing that. Fortunately here the Avengers should be in the front. Yeah, kinda lost all the spitters because of this positioning. I think he has... no, he doesn't have any more resurrections, I think. So we just need to deal with this. One Void Walker here, but doesn't have enough mana for a freeze. We are not really taking these expansions, even though Enea made 2 scout towers there. But yeah, now I have huge problems because new knights arrived. Fortunately we have a freeze here, so the mana actually regenerated there nicely. Materials of course have to retreat, yeah, those will die really quickly to the knight. And we are bringing new Void Walkers now, which is really important, also some new materials. And even though basically all of our Avengers died by now, he also brought some pikemen, so it was even easier for him to kill them. We at least managed to somehow regroup with the casters, so our army is now still 60 population ahead, almost 70. And we managed to regroup with lots of stingers and lots of casters. And we still have 3 Avengers to deal with the towers, so that's good. Here I just totally ignored the tower, just went all in basically. Unfortunately, once again some decrease, dealing heavy damage to basically everything I have. My anti-magic zones were not exactly on point, I would say. Here is the level 5 archers, of course, really strong, yeah, but unfortunately we had the freeze there again. So that was really good. And we are both on 0 resources. I have still 100 more population. Yeah, actually, this is what they told me after the game. I had some AFK units at my base. I think I lost my rally point, so that was the reason why I had this ultra small army, but my population was basically full. I had lots of units at home, and I don't think I will even find them until the end of the game, so that was a bit of a throw from me. Fortunately, it wasn't really a game-deciding factor. Even though the enemy is still gathering in 3 bases fully, I'm now getting some new bases on the sides. We actually managed to take this one, but yeah, we'll take these 2. So we should have 2 more in total, even though we already gathered something from this. So yeah, we kinda left lots of units at home, but this should be still enough to finish this. He still has some knights here. Actually he remade, yeah, 122 populations, so still pretty decent. Here I think I will maybe try to freeze him. Or no, my army was too far away, so I didn't really want to waste mana for that. He has the flower there, so he knows about an expansion, but it's not like he can stop it. Here he was with a mage. I mana burned him, but I think there was a window for him to cast the decree. Fortunately, my Matriarch here nicely maneuvered most of his mages, and then we can go for the fight pretty safely, because now he can't really decree me anymore. And now we have the Matriarchs with the mana, so we can finally raise some skeletons and prevent the decrease. So that was definitely really important. Here we even casted the decay, so really powerful. The ultimate ability dealt some damage to him as well. Freeze on the casters, also on the melee line. We have only the Avengers left, but yeah, still full population, lots of units at home. Maybe the new ones that I'm producing now, those are actually maybe already going into the fight, but yeah, we still have like maybe 60 or 80 population of units at home, just standing next to my production buildings. Here we kill the pikemen before they kill my Avengers. Finish this tower, and I think 98%. Maybe one more fight and he will probably just surrender here. He's actually coming with some more casters from the back. I think he has one more decree here, casted it on the Matriarch, so killed one there. But yeah, we are ending with full population of units. 2 bases actually already working here. So yeah, and I call it GG, and that is the end of the game after 49 minutes and 13 seconds. Of course we had it sped up like 2 times, but I think it was still okay speed to follow through the game. So yeah, here we have the scores, units, basically kinda even, kills and losses. I had 1 more kill than what I lost, so basically perfectly even. He had like 40 more losses than kills, but still pretty even as well. We produced like 110 more units, same largest army, of course, full population, and he actually got more experience. As we saw, he had those level 5 archers, which were definitely buffing his army by a lot, but he didn't have them there at all time. He was actually using them to protect his bases and things like that. I think you want to definitely maintain with Empire the leveled up units in your army usually at all time, especially Elf Rangers, because those are ranged units usually safe in the back, so they won't really die and they can provide decent damage buff. Yeah, it's +2 damage if you have level 5, so that's like 2 upgrades for damage for all units, really good. Here you have buildings, 4 more for me. I think overall we had more bases, but he had more researches. He also actually destroyed more buildings. That was probably the towers that I was spamming there in the expansion that he was attacking mainly in front of my base. Research is kinda balanced as well. We had 4,000 more gold. Also spent a little bit more. Wood was also in our favor a lot. And gems, yeah, we harvested also a little bit more and spent more as well. But he basically spent everything he had in terms of gems at least. So yeah, nice game. I hope you enjoyed this. I was lately releasing lots of games between Makrozerg and Suvak, so this was at least a little bit of a change with different players. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, so take care guys.